For the honor of Shuhada of Karbala Rasai. And to hasten the reappearance of our awaited Imam as I come down Our discussion, inshallah, is continuing regarding the theme Tawheed according to the school of Prophet Salam. And each day I've mentioned these two ayat from Surah Al-Baqarah, Ayat al-Kursi and the verse following Ayat al-Kursi, 255 and 256 of Surah Al-Baqarah. And we mentioned previously the fadilat and the importance and the significance of Ayat al-Kursi, the benefits regarding Ayat al-Kursi, the power of Ayat al-Kursi. And then we mentioned some of the points regarding the translation of the ayat, the Zafar of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that's mentioned here, and some of the points regarding the proving the Tawheed and the oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this verse and the verse following. Today I want to, as I said, as I mentioned previously, that each day we have one theme, but each day we have a specific topic which that majlis will focus on. Inshallah ta'ala we'll try to make sure that each majlis is focused on one particular area. And that is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, whose Tawheed and the belief in this Tawheed is the crucial belief among all the beliefs and on which all of the beliefs rest on. So every single other belief that we have is due to the fact that we believe in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, due to the fact that we believe in His Tawheed. And because this concept or this belief in Tawheed, believing in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is an abstract concept, it's a theoretical concept, it's something that has to be understood in the mind. Therefore, and this is very difficult, it's difficult for a person to focus on a concept which is purely theoretical. It is necessary. Human beings need there to be something practical which would allow them to understand the theoretical in their lives. If there's just theoretical, it is very difficult for a person to understand this thing unless there's a practical example associated with that theoretical concept. For this reason, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent down holy books with prophets, and He sent some prophets without books, but He didn't send any books without prophets. He sent down holy books with prophets, and then He sent some prophets with no books, but there's no books which are sent down, just come down from the sky, which was very easy for Him. وَهُوَ عَلَى كُلِّ شَيْءٍ قَدِيرٌ. He is capable of doing everything. It was very easy for Him that there would have been, like you hear in the films, this is the voice of God. And an announcement was made that in every single house there's a book. Read the book, follow it, believe in it, follow it, and live your life. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala could have done this, but He doesn't. He hasn't. To show that this theoretical requires practical examples. Without that practical examples, human being cannot connect with the theoretical concept. For this reason, especially in the matter of Tawheed, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has made sure that there are certain rituals and certain things that have been instituted for people to understand, for human beings to understand Tawheed. So this is very important. Sometimes you hear that people are dismissive of rituals. No, there's an importance of having the rituals in order to understand that concept. It is not possible for a person to understand the theoretical concept if there's no ritual. The greatest ritual to understand Tawheed is that which we do 5 times a day, which is Salah. This ritual is for me to connect with that concept of Tawheed. That for 5 times a day, every single day, I am being invited to appointment with God. Imagine, 5 times a day, every single day, I have been invited to an appointment with God. Whenever I have a doctor's appointment, or a dentist appointment, or some other lawyer's appointment, or any other kind of appointment, I always make sure that I'm there 10 minutes before time. Why? Because I don't want to be late. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, I'm inviting you 5 times a day to this appointment. So let's try to make sure that I prioritize this appointment the same way that I prioritize all those other appointments. Because this is an appointment with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Each and every, imagine 6 billion people in this world, in this earth, on this earth today. All of them are invited to this appointment. Whether or not you attend, that's up to you. But you're all invited to this appointment with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is for me, you, everybody who's invited to connect with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is one. But there are some appointments that He has made which are more intense. And so, because they're more intense, their frequency is less. For example, the appointment which is a bit more intense than Salah. Why? Salah 5 times a day, maximum, if you pray like me, you'll probably do it in 20 minutes. That's the whole day. 24 hours, 20 minutes. If you pray slow with khudu and khushu, maybe 30 minutes, 45 minutes, 1 hour. All of your Salah put together, 5, maybe 1 hour. Out of 24 hours. But then there's an appointment that's a bit more intense. That appointment comes once a year. That appointment is the holy month of Ramadan. This appointment is also from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to each and every person. Whosoever gets tawfiq to attend this appointment. The holy month of Ramadan. In this month we recite this dua, dua iftitah, very amazing dua. Dua all about Tawheed. In this dua, we say, Imam al-Salam teaches us to say, that, oh Allah, I've never seen anyone who's more generous than you. Why? Because you opened this door of mercy for me. And you invited me to your banquet, to your month, to your appointment. This holy month of Ramadan. You are the guest of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Right? And in this holy month of Ramadan, you're the guest of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Imam al-Salam is saying that, say that I've never seen any master like you who's inviting me, making this banquet, making this appointment for me, and I turn away from you. As though you need me when in reality it is I who needs you. This is dua iftitah. Then there's another appointment which is even more intense. And so Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says this appointment is so intense that I only want you to come once in your lifetime. وَلِلَّهِ عَلَى الْحِجِّ الْبَيْتِ مَنِ اسْتَطَاعَ إِلَيْهِ سَبِيلًا. For Allah is the Hajj to the house of God, whosoever can go on the journey. Usually people translate this as afford. It's not just afford, it's istidad, there's more than afford, which I will come to. But this journey is so intense, and each one of you who in this room who's been for that journey knows that it's very intense. And because it's so intense, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, I'm merciful, I don't call you all the time. Just once in your lifetime come. Once in your lifetime come to this journey and find out how intense this manifestation of Tawheed is. Imagine. You go on this journey. What does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala want me to do in this journey? This is what we want to talk about. How is Hajj the manifestation of belief in Tawheed? Inshallah ta'ala, if Allah gives me tawfiq, inshallah. He's saying that whosoever has istita'at, whosoever has capability, in this capability he includes the fact that you have to be able to afford to go on the journey. You have to be able to look after your family whilst you're going on the journey. You have to be able to make sure that when you come back, you still be able to afford taking care of your family. You have to make sure that the pathway and the road and the way to reaching there is safe, the way coming back is safe. You have to make sure that all the arrangements that you need to do there, you have enough time when you go there, so on and so forth, all of these things. When you go there, now I'm invited there to this journey, now what do I need to do? What is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala expecting me to do? So alright. And there I am in Makkah. And first thing that I'm ordered to do, you do the ihram. And once you did the ihram, now imagine the person like me who lives in the West and takes very, gives very importance, most importance to my appearance, to what I look like. That the dress that I'm wearing, the clothes that I'm wearing are the best clothes, the designer clothes, the most expensive clothes, the clothes that look good, that if somebody sees me, would say to me that, mashallah, you're wearing nice clothes. Every single one, as soon as you reach there, it's all of this out. 2 pieces of clothes and that's it. 2 pieces of, and it's not allowed, it's haram, not allowed to be stitched. No stitching. Just 2 pieces of cloth. Perhaps one of the hikmah, one of the reasons behind this is that it's a reminder. One day you're going to die. And when you die, it will be those 2 pieces of cloth that you will have. As many clothes as you had in dunya, as much pride and as much fakhr you had in dunya, all of that will be left behind. Only those 2 pieces of cloth will be left, and that's all you will have when you go into the grave. So it's a reminder that when you go there, this is all you have. And there's another thing. Imagine, one of the things I know here, it's a bit different, but in UK, most of our schools have uniform. And one of the reasons and one of the theories and one of the philosophy behind uniform is what? Is that everybody should look the same. The reason for having school uniform is so that all the children look the same. Why? It's possible that somebody comes from a wealthy background, somebody comes from a less fortunate background, and if they wear their own clothing, that will become apparent. It will become clear that this person comes from a background whose parents can afford good clothing, and this child comes from a background whose parents couldn't afford it. So in order to prevent that, in order to avoid that, you have uniform. All the children wear the same clothing, so there's no distinction between them, and the focus is not on the clothing, the focus is on the learning. Similarly, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, you come here on this journey, on this invitation of mine, and I want you all to be in uniform, so that there's no distinction between you. When you're standing in front of me, there's no distinction. And that is a reminder to you, each and every one of us, that when you're standing in front of God, there's no distinction. Yes, in the public, in the Husayniyah, in the Imam Bargah, I stand and say, I'm a Sayyid, so you should respect me. I'm Maulana, so you should respect me. But when I go for Hajj, no Sayyid, no Maulana. Nothing. You are just a servant of God. And all these other people, these 2 million people who are with you, they're also servants of God. And there's no, as far as God is concerned, there's no difference between them and you. Because you also been invited to this journey and so have they. Right? So this is the first thing. When you did put on the ihram, you took off your clothes, you put on the ihram, you made an announcement, and I remember reciting Salawat ala Muhammad. I remember when I went for Hajj 4 years ago, and all the men were complaining that we have to wear this ihram in order to do Hajj, and the ladies, they don't have to change their, wear the same clothing. So one of the ladies said, it's good. The rest of the year we are suffering. So at least when you come for Hajj, you realize the feeling that we're going through the whole year. Besides Salawat ala Muhammad. But this is the first step, the first stage, that in front of God, you're all the same. No distinction, no differences. There's no Sayyid, there's no Maulana, there's no Chaudhry, there's no titles, no any of these things. Whatever you are, whether you're a doctor or you're a Sayyid or you're Maulana or anything you are, it's all outside. Once you did the ihram and come into as the guest of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you are just a servant of God and nothing else. Then you reach there, and when you reach there, when you're doing first stage of Umrah Tawattу, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, first of all, I want you to do tawaf. And you're doing tawaf because 10,000 years ago, Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam did tawaf. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told him, what did he say? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told Ibrahim alayhi salam, you build the house, you build the Kaaba, and then you invite people. Tell them, come to my house, come to the house of God. Ibrahim said, Ya Allah, we're in the middle of the desert. There's nobody here. If I call out to people, who's going to hear me? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala replied to him, your responsibility is not to make sure people hear you. Your responsibility is to make the call. My responsibility is to make sure people hear you. This is a very important message related to each and every one of our lives. Religion of Islam is the religion of action, not the religion of outcome. What does that mean? It means that my responsibility is to act. Outcome is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's responsibility. I can't say, or I can't excuse myself, say that I will not get this desired outcome, therefore I'm not going to act. No, outcome is not your responsibility. When Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying to His Prophet that outcome is not your responsibility, you have to make the call. It is my responsibility to make sure that people hear you and hear this call. Imagine 10,000 years ago in the desert of Makkah where there was nobody, Ibrahim alayhi salam made the call, come for Hajj. Today, when 2 million people every single year go for Hajj, what do they say? As soon as you reach it, this is wajibat. Talbiyah is wajib. As soon as you put ihram, Talbiyah is wajib, what do you say? Labbaik Allahumma labbaik. What are you saying labbaik to? I'm saying labbaik that I heard the call of Ibrahim alayhi salam. I'm saying labbaik, yes, I'm here, that I heard that call of Ibrahim alayhi salatu salam, that's why I've come. Ibrahim alayhi salam is ordered to build Kaaba. Right? Kaaba is built by Adam, then in the flood of Noah it gets destroyed, Ibrahim alayhi salam builds Kaaba. Ibrahim alayhi salam builds Kaaba, and Ibrahim and Ismail together built Kaaba. And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, you have to build this Kaaba, purify it, for whom? for those people who are going to come for tawaf, and for ruku and sajda, and for i'tikaf. This place, this Kaaba, what is its significance? This Kaaba in Makkah is not the original. Allah. It's not the original. Where's the original? Original is on Arsh, it's called Baytul Ma'mur. Original is called Baytul Ma'mur on Arsh, on the 7th heaven. When angels want to do tawaf, they go around Baytul Ma'mur. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says to Ibrahim alayhi salam, where Baytul Ma'mur is on the Arsh, I want you to build the same on the earth, Kaaba. So Kaaba is what? Kaaba is Shabih of Baytul Ma'mur. Kaaba is Shabih, replica of Baytul Ma'mur. The same shape, same place, same dimensions, everything the same. Baytul Ma'mur is on Arsh and Kaaba is on earth. So Kaaba is Shabih, replica of the original which is on Arsh. That means that every single person who goes Hajj is ordered to go around Tawaf around Shabih of the original. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the first one. If you want to call, some people want to call Shabih bid'at, first person who is bid'ati is Ibrahim alayhi salam, to build Shabih of Baytul Ma'mur, and then tell people you come here and do your Hajj wajib. If you can afford the journey and you don't go, hadith says, the person who has istita'at, all the conditions are fulfilled, and then doesn't go for Hajj, that person will be resurrected on the Day of Judgment as a non-Muslim. That's the significance of going for Hajj. Then, not only that, so not only Ibrahim alayhi salam built Shabih, but within Masjid al-Haram, 99 prophets are buried. How many? 99, not one or two. You have an objection that we pray in front of the shrine of Imam Hussain alayhi salam, only Imam Hussain alayhi salam is buried there. In Kaaba, 99 prophets are buried. You said, don't pray on the graves. 99 prophets are buried, their graves are in Masjid al-Haram. Amongst them Ismail alayhi salam as well, and amongst them Hajara as well. All of them are buried in Masjid al-Haram. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, you have to do all your prayers facing this. Any prayer that you do which is not facing Qibla, batil. Now, Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam, he makes this call. Who is Ibrahim alayhi salam? Very important. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives many titles to Ibrahim alayhi salam in Quran. Kana Hanifan Musliman. He was a Hanif, upstanding, upright, Musliman. First person to be called Muslim is Ibrahim alayhi salam. Kana Siddiqan Nabiyya, he was the truthful one, he was the prophet. Kana Nabiyyan Rasula, he was a prophet, he was a messenger. He was the Khalil of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and also وَمِن شِيعَتِهِ لَإِبْرَاهِيمِ. The first person to be called Muslim, Ibrahim alayhi salam. First person to be called Shia, also Ibrahim alayhi salatu salam. In this surah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is talking about Nuh alayhi salam. And he says, we sent Nuh, and then he preached the message, وَمِن شِيعَتِهِ, and amongst his Shia of Nuh, Ibrahim, was Ibrahim alayhi salam. So, Hanifan, Musliman, Shia, all of these titles are called Khalil Ibrahim alayhi salatu salam. Building the Kaaba. Now, we're doing Tawaf, and we have to do Tawaf the way Ibrahim alayhi salam did, that you, in our madhab particularly very strict are the fuqaha, that you have to make sure Tawaf is between Rukn and Maqam. Between the house of Allah, between Kaaba and Maqam Ibrahim. Those who've been for Hajj at the time of Hajj, very difficult to get space between Kaaba and Maqam of Ibrahim alayhi salam. But this is and what is Maqam of Ibrahim? Maqam of Ibrahim is a stone on which Ibrahim alayhi salam stood in order to build Kaaba. Stone. You have objection to stones. You think stones are the problem. Why do you pray to the stones? Maqam of Ibrahim is a stone on which Ibrahim alayhi salam stood in order to build Kaaba, and it became so important that it's now the place in between which you have to do the tawaf, and when you finish the tawaf, it's the place behind which you have to make salat of tawaf. And it's a stone. You told us, stone of Karbala, why do you pray on the stone of Karbala? You have to do. And this is what? All of these things are what? Symbols of Tawheed. This stone, Maqam of Ibrahim alayhi salatu wasalam, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, إِنَّ أَوَّلَ بَيْتٍ وُضِعَ لِلنَّاسِ لَلَّذِي بِبَكَّةَ مُبَارَكًا وَهُدًى لِلْعَالَمِينَ فِيهِ آيَاتٌ مُحْكَمَاتٌ مَقَامُ إِبْرَاهِيمَ وَمَنْ دَخَلَهُ كَانَ آمِنًا. The first house to be built for people was at Makkah, and the reason it's built is so that people are guided. And in it are clear signs of ours, amongst them Maqam of Ibrahim. It's a sign of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Maqam of Ibrahim. What is it? A stone is a sign of Allah. Ayatum muhkamat, firm sign of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now you did that. Now what do you have to do? Once you did tawaf and you did sa'i, now you have to do, once you did tawaf and salat al-tawaf, now you have to do sa'i. What is sa'i? 10,000 years ago, Ibrahim alayhi salam left Hajra and Ismail in the desert. And some people didn't understand the philosophy behind this. I won't mention the name, but I'm sure you know and you'll get to it. Some people didn't understand this philosophy. So, alayhi billah, they accused the Prophet of Allah that he's a deadbeat father, that he left Hajra and Ismail by themselves. If your ma'rifat is lacking, you can't accuse Prophets of Allah of being deadbeat. Hajra knew why she was being left there, and Ismail alayhi salam knew why they were being left there. Ibrahim alayhi salatu salam didn't leave them there irresponsibly. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave him an order to leave them there. And there's a wisdom behind it. And then the water runs out. So 10,000 years ago, our mother ran between Safa and Marwa searching for water. No, we have to change the sentence a little bit. Not only a woman ran, but a black woman ran. A black woman ran from Safa to Marwa searching for water for her son. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants to crush my ego. Tawheed is crushing my ego. That now every single man and woman, whatever you are, whoever you are, whatever you think you are, you have to do the same thing as her. Wajib. Otherwise your Hajj is not complete. She ran searching for water. Nowadays there's water everywhere. Why are you running? Not only that, Quran says, Inna as-Safa wal Marwa min sha'airillah. What is Safa and Marwa? Two mountains. Again, pieces of stone. Maqam Ibrahim was stone. Safa and Marwa is also stone. This stone is what? Min sha'airillah. Amongst the signs of Allah. And what is sha'air Allah? And what is the requirement for sha'air Allah? وَمَنْ يُعَظِّمْ شَعَائِرَ اللَّهِ فَإِنَّهَا مِنْ تَقْوَى الْقُلُوبِ. Whosoever honors Sha'air Allah is one who shows the taqwa, the piety, the belief in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala from their heart. By honoring Sha'air Allah. What is it? Stone. But this stone, that stone was important because Ibrahim a.s., Prophet of Allah, stood on it. This stone, these stones, these mountains are important because mother of a prophet ran between these two stones searching for water. Then what happens? Once you've done that, now your umrah is done. Now you go towards plains of Arafat. Arafat means to know. In Arabic, Arafat, Ma'ayn, Rafa. Arafat means to know. And Arafat is the place of knowing, the place of Ma'rifat. And Ma'rifat is also from this name, root Arafat. In this plain, it's amazing. You go for Hajj. You spend all this money, probably $10,000 nowadays, yeah? Something like that, to go for Hajj. You go there, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, before you start your Hajj, I'm taking you away from Makkah. Come into this desert called Arafat. And whole day, the day of 9th of the Hijjah, from the time of Zuhr, all the way to the time of Maghrib. You have to stay there. Wuquf. Staying in Arafat. What do you have to do? Nothing. Just stay. You spend $10,000 from America to go to Hajj. And then on the day of Arafat, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says from Dhuhr to Maghrib, you don't do anything. Just come to this desert and stay there. Why? And how important is this? Imam al-Salam says, Al-Hajju wal-Arafah. Hajj is nothing except for this day of Arafah. That's it. Rasulullah, what is it about this day? He's saying this is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants you to understand. That this Hajj, all these rituals, the purpose of what is to increase your ma'rifat of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah has called you here from Dhuhr till Maghrib. Sit there and contemplate about your life. Sit and contemplate about your life. It's mentioned that there's certain du'as and certain forgiveness that you can't get anywhere except on this plain of Arafah, on this desert of Arafah. When you go there, you sit there, you contemplate, you ask for forgiveness, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will forgive you. Begin your life anew on this day of Arafah. And the most beautiful thing is what? Is that usually Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says to you that we've given you 5 times of prayers, fixed timings. We don't pray them, but there are fixed timings for Asr and Isha. But on the day of Arafah, you're there sitting there the whole day in the desert. You can pray easily these 5 prayers at their fixed timings. But no, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says on the day of Arafah, in the plains of Arafah, everyone has to be Shia. Everyone has to be Shia. You have to pray Dhuhr and Asr together on the day of Arafah, on the plains of Arafah. And you have to pray Maghrib and Isha together on the plains of Muzdalifah, where you're going to go next. Everybody, you're sitting there the whole day. You don't need, there's no action. There's recommended action, lots of du'as to recite. This dua of Arafah, Imam Hussain alayhi salam, amazing dua to contemplate about Tawheed. In this dua, in the beginning of this dua of Arafah, Imam alayhi salatu wasalam talks about every single body organ, from the brain to the mind, to the eye, to the ear, to the lips, to the nose, to the mouth, to the tongue. All of these things is a phenomenal dua. Dua of Arafah of Imam Hussain alayhi salam. Recommended to be recited, but not obligatory. Obligatory is only to stay at Arafah from Zuhr to Maghrib. So now, you leave Arafah. In Arafah at least you had AC tents. Then you come to Muzdalifah. Or Mash'ar, it's called in some places. In Quran it's called Mash'ar. And the name that is known by is called Muzdalifah. In this place, this is the place where Ibrahim a.s. brought Ismail a.s. to, on the way towards sacrificing. The day of Eid, the morning of Eid, you have to do at Muzdalifah. Again here, there's no action that you have to do, you just have to stay there. And here there's no AC, you have to sleep on the ground, on the concrete. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is showing me that no matter how much you can afford, the most comfortable mattress at home, the best blanket, but here when you come here, you have to sleep on the concrete. And everybody has to. Everybody goes to Muzdalifah on the concrete. Then you leave, day of Eid, and now you go to Mina. Mina, one of the most important but underrated and sometimes ignored part of the Hajj. When you go to Mina, what do you have to do? When you reach Mina, now there's all these pillars and you have to throw stones at them. Imagine 2 million Muslims, you give them stones. At the best of times. And now he told them there's shaitan and you have to throw stones at him. Ibrahim a.s. threw stones at shaitan because shaitan came in front of him, prevented him from fulfilling that which was obligatory on him. Now there's no shaitan there, but there are pillars and you have to throw stones at them. And pillars are also 3. Pillars are also 3. Pillars are also 3. Because 3 times shaitan came to Hazrat Ibrahim a.s. And so he stoned them 3 times, therefore you also, every single person goes Hajj. You have to make sure that you throw stones. And you have to make sure that you throw stones, not flip-flops. You know, some people when you go there, people are throwing flip-flops and all kinds of other things. You have to throw stones, not flip-flops. Why? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that, look, because Ibrahim a.s. did that action, I want you to do the same action. So in reality, all these rituals are what? Tawheed. Now, you have to sacrifice animals. As soon as you stone the shaitan, now you have to sacrifice the animal. So imagine 2 million people. For each person, you sacrifice an animal. 2 million animals. Why? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, no. Yes, Ibrahim a.s., he had Ismail, he laid him down and the animal came in his place. Okay, we understand. Now you have to do the same thing. Every person, for each person who's going to Hajj, they have to do Qurbani sacrifice. Now all of this is done now. You shave your head. Sometimes for some people it's the most difficult part, especially the ones who go nice hair. They say, I spent all year growing my hair, now you want me to shave my head? And then I'm going to look like an egghead because the hair was covering the fact that my head is not evenly shaped, but now I'm going to look like a head. But you have to shave your head as well. All of these rituals, all of them are for what? To remind me about Tawheed. Every ritual is a ritual that is a reminder to increase my Tawheed. That this is proof, this whole activity is proof that I need ritual in my life in order to connect with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I need this ritual in my life in order to connect with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There's no way that you can conceptually sit there and try and understand Allah without rituals. These rituals are the need of a person in order to understand Allah. And by extension, these things, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, what? Sha'ar Allah, you have to yu'adhim, ta'aleem, respect. Not worship. And this is very clear. It's not a complicated thing. That respect and worship are 2 different things. It's not complicated. Nobody thinks that respect equals worship. Except for those who willingly don't want to understand the difference. Everybody knows that if it was the same thing, then ibadat and ta'aleem would be, why would you have two different words? Two different words are meaning and a sign that they are different. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that I don't want you to worship the sha'air Allah. No. وَلَا تَعْبُدُوا إِلَّا اللَّهِ. You only have to worship Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But you have to show respect. And in that same verse he says, وَقَضَى رَبُّكَ أَنْ لَا تَعْبُدُوا إِلَّا اللَّهِ وَبِالْوَالِدَيْنِ إِحْسَانًا. Straight after that, to tell you that yes, there is ibadat only for Allah. And then there's respect. Then there's respect. Whether it's for Rasulullah, whether it's for the parents, whether it's for sha'air Allah, signs of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And what would constitute sha'air Allah? These rituals of Hajj, they are sha'air Allah. Of course, no doubt about it. In the Zafar wal Marwa min sha'air Allah. These mountains are sha'air Allah. This stone is sha'air Allah. All these things are sha'air Allah. Now, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants you to understand that know that when this stone, this metal, this wood, this plastic, this cloth becomes attributed to me, now it's no longer stone and metal and wood and plastic and cloth. Now it has to be respected. Now it has to be respected. It has to be ta'aleem. Whoever does ta'aleem is showing their taqwa of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In other words, they're showing that their belief in Tawheed is true and genuine. Without it, there's no belief in Tawheed if there's no respect. And this is very crucial. Why? Because we live in a society where respect is seen as a weakness. So it's important that we re-emphasize that ibadat, obedience, unconditionally is only for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Worship is only for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But respect is for everyone. And if there's no respect, then there's no Islam. If there's no ta'zeem, there's no Islam. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, obedience, worship is only for me. Then you have to respect the Prophet. Don't go in front of him. Don't speak in front of him. Don't speak louder than him. Then you have to respect the parents. Then you have to respect the signs of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Even inanimate objects, if they attribute to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. What else is sha'air Allah? Very important. Now time is up. What else is sha'air Allah? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that whatever is attributed to me. So imagine this Hajj is sha'air Allah. And this Hajj is very important. This Hajj is a way to connect with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I remember when I came back, somebody asked me, what do you think? How can you summarize Hajj? I said in one sentence. I said in one sentence is a divine anger management program. In one sentence, Hajj is a divine anger management program. That you're standing there in Ihram and somebody is pushing you and somebody is shoving you, and especially when you have Jamarat and you want to throw stones, someone's throwing stones at you because you're in the front and they're behind you and they're taller than you, they're shorter than you and they were behind you. So, and you can't say anything. Normally, someone shoves you, you turn around and say, excuse me, what are you doing? You can't even say that. If you say that, you have to give kafara. Divine anger management program. When you come back, you realize that for 48 hours, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala put you through this state of ihram to show that this is what you're capable of. This is what you can do in your life. If you want to. When you can do it for 48 hours, you can do it for the rest of your life. But you have to show the willpower to do it. You have to demonstrate the willpower of Tawheed. Demonstrate that Tawheed in your life. If you can do that, then you'll be successful. What else is Sha'air Allah? What else is Sha'air Allah is that this Hajj so important. Imagine, I don't know, one of our teachers used to say that if you want to understand the azamat, the greatness of Hajj, understand it through the fact that whenever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Ma'asumeen alayhi salam, want to mention something which is very significant in reward, they use Hajj as an example. I'll give you an example. Those of you for ziyarat or no, and inshallah those of you who have not, may inshallah ta'ala, Allah give you all opportunity to go for Hajj and ziyarat. When you go Masjid Kufa, in Masjid Kufa, if you pray an obligatory, a wajib prayer, Fajr, Asr, Maghrib or Isha, the reward of doing that one wajib prayer in Masjid Kufa is equivalent to Hajj. I have to mention a disclaimer here, and that is that doesn't mean that I can go Masjid Kufa and do that prayer and then not go for Hajj. No. It is equivalent in reward to Hajj. Greater than that is Imam Sadiq alayhi salatu wasalam says, recite salawat ala whosoever goes for ziyarat of Hussain alayhi salatu wasalam, knowing his rights, conditional, knowing his rights, arifan bihaqqi, then he will get the reward for Hajj. Questioner says, Yabna Rasulullah, the reward for Hajj? He says, reward for 2 Hajj. He says, reward for 2 Hajj. He says, reward for 10 Hajj. He says, reward for 10 Hajj. He says, reward for 100 Hajj. Imam alayhi salam says, if you keep on counting, I'll keep on increasing. That in order to highlight the greatness of an action, the example that's used, the mizan, the scale that's used is Hajj. So how great is Hajj as an act of worship that is used as an example to tell us about the greatness of thawab, of reward. But 1 year, 60 after Hijrah, Imam Hussain alayhi salam is in Makkah. 28th Rajab, 60 Hijrah, he leaves Medina, he comes to Makkah. Imam Hussain alayhi salam is in Makkah. Sha'ban, he's in Makkah. Shahr Ramadan, he's in Makkah. Shawwal, he's in Makkah. Dhul Qa'dah, he's in Makkah. Dhul Hijjah, he's in Makkah. And on 8th of Dhul Hijjah, 8th of Dhul Hijjah, 60 after Hijrah, the day, those who have been for Hajj know that usually, in order to avoid the crowd, on the night of 8th of Dhul Hijjah, when the day of 8th of Dhul Hijjah passes, Mu'mineen go towards Arafah because in the morning it's very busy on the roads. So the day that everybody leaves to go to Arafah and start their Hajj, Imam Hussain is leaving Makkah. And nobody's asking him, Yabna Rasulullah, Shariat came in your house. Your grandfather was the messenger of God, Sahib al-Wahi, Sahib al-Quran, and you're leaving the day before Hajj starts? And Imam Hussain ﷺ would tell us that yes, I'm leaving the day before Hajj starts in order to make sure that Hajj is safe till the day of judgment. Imagine I stood there in Masjid al-Haram when I went for Hajj. And I stood there and I said, and I cried, I wailed. I said, Ya Ibn Rasulullah, son of the Prophet, it is your ihsan that we're all here to do Hajj today. It is your favor on us. Why? I said, that son of the Prophet, if he had been killed in Masjid al-Haram as Yazid wanted him to be killed, each and every one of us would have been saying to each other, how can we go for Hajj? When the grandson of the Prophet wasn't saved, what security and safety do I have for my Hajj? Imagine. Hussain alayhi salam says, yes, For this reason, I've abandoned the Hajj. I didn't do the Hajj that year. Which Hussein? 25 times he went for Hajj. Not one or two, 25 times. Walking from Medina to Makkah, 170 kilometers. And he says, there's riwayat from Imam Hussain alayhi salam, that I love Hajj. 25 times. I love Hajj. And then he says, this year, 60 after Hijrah, no Hajj. No Hajj. Hussain alayhi salam, you left? Yes. To tell you that if there's no Karbala, there's no Hajj. Without Karbala, without this sacrifice of Hussain alayhi salam, there's no Hajj. That means Sha'air Allah is Karbala. Sha'air Allah is Karbala, and everything attributed to Karbala, everything related to Karbala, everything that reminds me of Karbala, all of these things are Sha'air Allah. Because without Karbala there is no Hajj. And what is Hajj? Inna Safa wal Marwa min Sha'air Allah. So without this, without Karbala, there is none of these things. Without Hussain alayhi salam, there is none of these things. And this is what Hussain alayhi salam wants you to understand, that Tawheed and every manifestation of Tawheed would never have been able to survive if I didn't do what I did. And for that, I have picked out special people. You know, every battle you hear about, there's all kinds of people in those battles. Even in the time of Rasulullah, even in the time of Amirul Mu'mineen, even in the time of other previous prophets of Allah. But Karbala is special. Karbala is so special that Imam Hussain alayhi salatu wasalam personally picks out every single person he wants to be. Person. When he leaves Medina, Aun and Muhammad are not with him. When did they join him? Hazrat Abdullah ibn Ja'far, husband of Bibi Zainab and father of Aun and Muhammad, comes to Makkah to do Hajj. And he gets news that Imam Hussain is about to leave. So he comes to visit Imam Hussain. When he comes to visit Imam Hussain, somebody informs Bibi Zainab Salamullah alayha that your husband, Hazrat Abdullah, has come to see Imam Hussain. She's very worried. She thinks, is Hazrat Abdullah going to change his mind? Is he going to say that I don't want you to accompany Imam Hussain? So she sends a message saying, what's going on? What's happening? Hazrat Abdullah says that rest assured that I didn't come here to prevent you from joining Imam Hussain on the journey. But I'm old. Hazrat Abdullah ibn Ja'far was older than Imam Hussain. He says, I'm old. My eyesight is failing. I can't join you on the jihad of Allah. But Rasulullah, there might come a day where there might be a need. And on that need, consider all on my behalf and Muhammad on Zainab's behalf. He says this and he leaves. On the day of Ashura, on the night of Ashura, Bibi Zainab Salamullah alayha calls upon her sons. And she says, imagine how difficult it is. She says, oh my sons, know that tomorrow is the day of Karbala. Tomorrow is the day of Ashura. Tomorrow is the day of the culmination. And I don't want to be embarrassed in front of your grandmother, Fatima Salam. That if on the day of judgment she says to me that my son was killed and your sons were alive, what would I reply to her? No. So make sure that tomorrow, on the day of Ashura, you are the first ones to go towards the battle. The morning comes, people start to go towards the battlefield, they get killed, they come back, the bodies are coming back into the tents. Bibi Zainab sees that her sons are still alive. She calls on them. She says, I'm very unhappy with you. I told you, you promised me that you would be the first ones to go towards the battlefield in the morning, but people have already died and their bodies are coming into the tents and you're still here. They say, oh mother, we want to go to the battlefield, but our uncle Hussein doesn't let us go. Our uncle Hussein doesn't let us go. Bibi Zainab Salaamullah comes to Imam Hussein and she says something so heartbreaking that honestly is enough to weep. Imagine every brother who has a sister. Imagine. Your sister comes to you and she says, oh my brother, did I ever ask you for anything? Allahu Akbar. Did I ever ask you? Did I ever demand you anything? And Imam Hussain says, no. He says, I only have one request. Just one. Allow my sons to go towards the battlefield. In reality, the day of Ashura is an amazing day. It is an outstanding day. It is an exceptional day. It is a day like no other day. Imam Hassan says, La yawm li yawmika Aba Abdillah. There's no other day where you would hear a mother saying, I want my sons to die. I want my sons to die. Every mother is saying, I want my sons to stay alive. She says, I want my sons to die. Hussain a.s. says, all and Muhammad are young. They're children. There's no obligation on them. Hussain says, no, I want them to die. I want them to die. Hussain a.s. says, but what if their father will not be pleased with this? So Bibi Zainab says, don't you remember that it was their father who came to you in Makkah and said, I want all on my behalf, Muhammad on Zainab's behalf. Imam Hussain has no answers. He has no answers. He prepares them, sends them into the battlefield. Bibi Zainab Salaamullah says, I want you to go into the battlefield and you don't need to say anything. Your actions should state that the enemies would say that these are the grandsons of Ali and Ja'far. They fought like Ali and Ja'far fought. All of Muhammad go into the battlefield. Every shaheed in Karbala has his own place, but for some shuhada there's specific statements that are made which are unique to them. Only when Aun and Muhammad come into the battlefield, Umar ibn Sa'd looks up. He comes out of his tent and he says that I'm amazed how much does Zainab love Hussein, that she sent her sons to die in order to save Hussein. You know, it's every shaheed and every person in Karbala that sacrifice is great. But there's nobody whose sacrifice is greater than Zainab. Nobody. Allah, but there's nobody. ये अलग बात है कि महफूज रहा दीन रसूल. ये अलग बात है कि लूटा गया घर ज़ैनब का. Zainab Salaamullah alayha didn't just sacrifice her sons, she sacrificed her progeny forever. Umar ibn Sa'd is surprised, astounded. It's mentioned that when Aun and Muhammad went into the battlefield, they were so short that their legs would have reached the stirrup of the horses. But they fought valiantly, they fought in the way that sons of Ali and the grandsons of Ali and Jafar should fight. They fell from the horses. Abu Fadl Abbas, Imam Hussein, Ali Akbar raced to the battlefield. They brought them back into the tents. When they came into the tents, Allahu Akbar, when they came into the tents, all the women made a circle and they started doing matam for Muharram. But in that circle, there was one person missing. Zainab Salamullah alayha is not in that circle. When they look around, where is the mother? They see that she's opened the musalla. She's sitting on the musalla, head is in sajda. Oh Allah, thanks be to you who accepted my sacrifice. Who accepted my sacrifice? And what happened after that? Allah. They came into Kufa. They didn't cry. She didn't cry over all. They came into Sham. No crying over all. It's mentioned that when the day came when Yazid was forced to release the prisoners, and the forces of Yazid brought back all the heads of the shuhada. Every time a head of a shaheed would come, all of the women would come close and take the head and weep over it. 2 heads remained in the corner. The women of Sham said, is the mother of these 2 young men dead? Did she pass away? Zainab Salamullah alayhi says, why are you asking this? They say we see every single woman is sitting with the heads of their beloved ones, but these 2, nobody is there to take their heads. Zainab says, you didn't do justice with me. Who should Zainab weep over? Should she weep over Abbas? Or she should weep over Ali Akbar? Or should weep over Hussein? Or should weep over Muhammad? Then she reached Medina. When she reached Medina, she stayed in the house of Imam Sajjad al-Islam. One day, Hazrat Abdullah came. Hazrat Abdullah came and he said, I want you. He says to Imam Sajjad al-Islam, tell your aunt Zainab that this is her house. Come back to her house. She doesn't want to come to her house. Imam Sajjad al-Islam says, Hazrat Abdullah wants you to come home. Zainab leaves the house of Imam Sajjad. She comes into the house. When she comes into the house, Hazrat Abdullah stands up. He says, who are you? Who are you? Are you in the wrong place? My wife is not home. Zainab says, what's happened to you? I am Zainab. I'm Zainab. Hazrat Abdullah says, when you left Medina, you are not like this. Allahu Akbar. Zainab says, what shall I tell you about what happened to me in these 6 months? What shall I tell you about what happened to me in these 6 months? Now she comes into the house. She sees those 2 beds of honor Muhammad. She sees those 2 musallas. She starts to weep over them. She says, your mother didn't weep over you. In this whole journey, your mother didn't weep over you, but today she's going to weep. Hazrat Abdullah says, weep afterwards. First tell me, how did my brother Hussein fight? Allahu Akbar. Bibi Zainab Salamullah alayha says, listen, when every single person had been killed, last sentence, when every single person had been killed, Hussein alayhi salam came out from the tent and he looked around and he sobbed. He said, for every shaheed I helped him onto the horse. Who's going to help me on the horse? Who's going to help me on the horse? Zainab says, I came out. I bent my knee and said, oh my brother Hussein, your sister Zainab is still alive. Hussein alayhi salam mounted the horse. He rode into the battlefield. Imagine, after 72 have been killed, each one of them is brought back into the tents, hungry, thirsty, tired, exhausted. 120 degrees Fahrenheit heat on the day of Ashura. Hussein alayhi salam rides into the battlefield. And Zainab says, I'm watching from Tel Aviv. Hussein alayhi salam rides into the battlefield. He attacks the first time the enemy. When he attacks them, they all retreat. And he comes close to the body of Ali Akbar. And he says, Ali Akbar, did you see how your father fought today? Then he looks up to the enemy. He says, look at the one who's fighting after Hamshakh Payambar died in front of him. Then he comes close to the river. And he says, Abbas, Abbas, did you see how I fought today? You were in a hurry to go, otherwise we would have fought together. Then he looks up to the enemy and he says, look at the battle, look at the fighting of the one whose back is broken, whose Abbas was killed in front of him. Hazrat Abdullah hears this and he collapses, faints. He gets up, he says, enough. Zainab Salamullah Alaiha says, you just heard this and you fainted. I saw all of this in front of me. Now you ask me, why is it that I don't look the same?